Welcome to the Next Biggest Winner. I'm George Cholis, host of the show that helps you find your next big winning stock. Today's episode is a special one because we're solely focused on UC Resources, a producing company from Mexico that's generating real revenue and real cash flow. More importantly, they're looking to ramp up that production into commercial production stage over the next couple of months. Second, for the first time ever, we're giving you at home unprecedented access to UC's actual operations in Mexico. We send a crew and our producer down to their operations to film their exploration site and their milling operations. We'll be right back with Jim Voisin and our first segment of their exploration project in Mexico. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thanks, George. Always a pleasure.
So we got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions for you that I want to talk about.
Fire away.
But before we get into that, for the benefit of everyone at home, why don't you set up this clip for us and let us know what they're going to be seeing, and then when we get back from that clip, I want to ask you some important questions.
Well, the first part of the clip is touring some of the mineralized zones that we have historically found, and some of them that Gerardo actually found that we didn't know were there. We're working presently on the upper Ixora. The Ixora claim is an upper and a lower part. Many millions of years ago, it was sitting like this, until there was a tectonic event of some kind that upthrusted one of the half of the property really to about a 900, 1,000 foot vertical lift, and we're working on the upper Ixora for the moment because it was the most historically mined on the property.
And without this video clip, it would be pretty difficult to visualize that. So for the benefit of everyone at home, we're going to go to the first segment, which is a tour of the exploration site. And right after the commercial, we'll have questions for Jim.
Jim Voisin. I'm the president and COO of UC Resources. We have a facility in Alaska, Nayarit. That's going to break the camera. You better have a strong lens in there. Andale. Today I had the pleasure of touring the three major structures on the upper Ixora. It's not fun working in a remote area of Mexico. It's challenging. Nothing is easy. We're not in Sudbury. We're in remote Mexico. So these guys have their challenges laid out for them. Wheels is easy, really. Except I hate riding wheels. During the course of our exploration phase, our expert geologist Gerardo Turin has done systematic and random sampling of the areas that we think are of interest. Gerardo's been with us for over a year now. He's been boots on the ground. He's found more material than we ever possibly thought was imaginable here. He's found every little nook and cranny. We knew about the main ones, the historic ones, the ones that the elders talk about, the ones that the paths lead to. but he's taken us to places that no one's ever gone before or no one's ever found before. He's done about 25 meters of random channel sampling along here, along the cliff. And we encountered a little bit over a meter of 600 plus grams of silver. But we're doing it systematically. We're going from west to east. We're presently drilling the Mirador vein system or structure system. And so far in the core, it looks like we've been fairly successful in hitting the targets that we've been looking for. So we went up on top, and where you may have just saw the drill running, we're actually doing a scissor. We're doing a scissor to intersect this 1 meter, as well as a couple of meters that are off in the other direction. And then that was the first hole. We believe we've hit 2 mineralized zones on that one hole.
As you can see, there's another important system going inside this plane. We got another mineralized manifestation to the west, which is called Leona. So both systems are showing mineralization.
So we'll put a couple of holes in this, because this could very easily be one of the faces that we were working when we start the hard rock mine. It's a little over a meter. It's not that wide, but when you're running at 600 grams per ton, or in excess of 600 grams a ton silver, you don't need a lot of tons to make a lot of difference. We're currently standing at the entrance to the Mirador mine. Right now we're standing on a cliff that I'm looking at is basically a vertical 900-foot drop to a very sudden stop at the river ravine. The Mirador and mostly La Colorada were mined from the late 1800s to sometime in 1910, when the mine and milling of La Esca was shut down because someone came and took all the mules by force. We have a block of mineable material there that we could blast out and could be the very start of our hard rock mining exposure. Around the entrance to any of these historic mines, you'll find rocks and rubble, what they would have considered waste material. Here's a perfect example of stuff that's laying around that they decided not to mine that we would be more than happy to process. This is the La Cuatas occurrence. This is the furthest westerly mined occurrence that we have on the property. Because it's the least mined, we believe that it was probably the latest one that was being developed. We've had samples taken out of this structure that are in excess of 5 grams. They're in excess of 5 grams gold and a couple hundred grams silver. But what we've noticed that they did here that they didn't do in other places is that they actually mined the vein on surface. This whole wall that we see standing behind me has actually all been mined. There's an effort in dirt moving to go to actually mine this structure on surface. Because it goes subterranean here, we think that we have an on-surface occurrence that could very well be mined and with not that strenuous an effort.
From where we are standing now to my right, we can see the foot wall. And the width that we can appreciate is probably 5 meters.
5 meters is a very nice mineable width, especially when it starts at surface. Going to the La Colorada mine. La Colorada is probably the first mine that was mined in the area between it's late 1800s up to 1910. The Mexican Ministry of Mine went in and did a historic survey in 1985. The average was a little over 11,000 tons of 600 plus grams silver and about 1.5 grams of gold. All we know is that the veins that are on the upper La Colorada seem to extend post-fault to the lower Colorado. So after we get done with the upper Exora claim, we'll go to the lower Exora claim, which seems to be a carbon copy of the upper Exora claim. I believe that we have probably at the moment we have in the area of 5 to 6 faces that we could start to mine. So that's more than enough material to feed the mill.
My name is Marco Pizarro. I am the La Yesca plant manager. We are here for do a brief overview of the La Yesca plant.
We get the mill running, we get the mill profitable, and we start to mine. That will be time to make money.
The next biggest winner is brought to you by. Welcome back to the show. Jim, that was a great segment where we toured your exploration site. I've got a couple of questions for you. The first one is, and I'm sure a lot of people at home are sharing the same feelings, I had no idea that you had this really steep rock face to deal with. This isn't the typical exploration project where it's flat land, kind of terrainy. What kind of challenges did that pose to you guys to have that kind of environment to work in, and how have you solved all that?
Well, the access by mule really wasn't acceptable to us anymore because the drill wouldn't go up by mule. Our forefathers who mined there before us weren't dealing with mules or weren't dealing with drills, they were dealing with picks and shovels.
Right.
So we built a 9-kilometer access road on a 75-degree hill. The actual face is 90, but the road that accesses it, we used the 75-degree cliff to build this.
And we got a view of that because the truck was backing up at that point. And this isn't, it's fun to talk about here in the studio.
It is.
But this isn't child's play here. This is a real challenge. You have some real expertise there.
There's no guardrails, and one mistake is a plummet down the side of this hill. We don't wear seat belts because in case something does happen, we want to exit the truck.
You've already done all the hard work to make it something that's attractive to potential partners. Because up until this point, historically, like you said, it had been picks and shovels over a couple hundred years, over a long period of time. But it's really attractive now for potential partners.
Well, it's not very many joint venture partners that would walk into a location and have the mill set up and ready to run. It is running actually, and also have enough rock outlined to start the mining process. There's slightly in excess of 17,000 tons there that we're comfortable with talking about right now. And we are presently drilling off some more locations, and Gerardo just keeps finding them.
And I got to tell you, now that we've actually all seen this segment, I think we all have a deeper appreciation for what it really means to have gotten to this point and what your chief geologist has been able to do. What I want to do now is move on to our second segment of your mill operations. Give us a 30-second overview of what everyone at home is about to see there.
It was a challenge to put this mill together on the terrain that we brought it in. You've seen now on the first segment some of the challenges that we actually have to get to the mill. This is remote Mexico. This isn't Sudbury.
Right.
We're not downtown anywhere. If we need something, it's a 5-hour drive to Guadalajara to access anything that we need.
All right, so let's roll it, and we'll be right back with more questions for Jim.
My name is Marco Pizarro. I am the La Yesca plant manager. We are here for do a brief overview of the La Yesca plant.
This area is the crushing area. The objective of this area is to reduce the size of the material. We need to reduce the size in order to get the right size to recover the more quantity of silver and gold. After the screen, we feed a hammer crusher.
second area is the grinding. We have 2 mills in the grinding area. Both are working in serial. We recover all the most possible material.
We reduce more the material to a very, very little size. We can say that is the most important because the product of this is the result of the high recovery of material here.
The third stage is a combination of leaching and thickener.
We are in the third stage of the process. This is the leaching area.
We use both stages for recovery to try to separate the more quantity of water and try to leach all the valuable metal.
We use in this area the cyanide to try to recover all the gold and silver.
After the leaching process, we have a stage of separation of water and solid separation. We recover the water and we reuse the water in the mill circuit, and we send the solids to the dams.
We have the dam area. In this area we can dispose the material that we are processed.
And the last stage of the mill, it's the recovery area. We have a filter stage in that part for try to reduce the solids in the water. The aeration tower to take out all the air. In the precipitation area, we use a thin powder that is composed for more or less 35% of silver and 6 or 4% of gold. That solution with that precipitate is sent into the filter press, dry after, and package and ship to the smelter.
We use this equipment to recover the precipitate that is the product of the numerical process. The precipitate it's a material that contains the gold and silver that we use to sell in the market.
If he's got the chute ready.
Yeah, the chute is ready.
I believe that we now have the right mill manager. I'm certain that we now have the right geologist, staff geologist. The idea has always been the same. It's never changed from day one. We get the mill running, we get the mill profitable, and we start to mine. We're at the point now that the mill is finely tuned. We do have the faces, we do have the locations that we believe that we can extricate this material, and we're drilling them off right now. Everything that we have focused on for the last number of years is now obtained. Really, the goal is to get to the finish line of mining fresh rock. That will be time to make money. It's there to be had, and we're going to have it.
Closed captioning provided by. Welcome back to the show. You just watched footage of the milling operations of UC Resources. Jim, that was incredible. First thing I want to ask you is, we talked earlier about the terrain. How did you get all that equipment? Because I never knew what the milling operation really looked at until I saw this video clip. How did you guys get all that equipment up there from a logistics point of view, set up and operating at 120 tons per day?
We brought it in pieces, small pieces. The biggest thing you can get in there would be like a roll-off, one of those garbage type roll-off trucks.
Right.
That's absolute maximum size that you can bring in there. So everything really had to be fabricated on site. All the electrical had to be wired in. We ran 8 kilometers of electrical lines into the plant, and securing the poles was a nightmare because you're digging in rock. The construction phase was truly a challenge.
I got to tell you, if you did nothing else, and the operation stayed at where it was, you're producing 120 tons per day, I think that's a massive victory on its own. I think everyone at home now can really appreciate it. But your goal is to get up to 200 tons per day. What's it going to take for you? You're a conservative guy. You've been boots on the ground for all these years, which is what a lot of us really love about you. What's it going to take for UC to proclaim commercial production?
We were almost there. And this is basically what's turned Gary and I gray, I think. is or me primarily, is that we were almost there, and then we had to take our big ball mill out to have the bearings, the bushings redone. You know, we ran it. Well, we got quotes and time frames of how long it was going to take, and the best we could do was a 3-week shutdown. Well, we are in Mexico, and we are remote, and we are in Mexico, and the 3 weeks turned into 4 months. Then we came back, put the mill back together again, started running it, and then we had the rainy season. In the rainy season, when it rains, when you stand outside that one rainy storm in the summertime that it's really, really pours for about 30 seconds, you're like, oh man, it can't keep this up, and it doesn't. The difference is in Mexico, in the mountains, it does keep that up, and it keeps it up for hours.
Yeah, that's got to be an unbelievable challenge. You got to worry about all sorts of things.
We just had roads washed out because of the hurricane that blew through there last week. Like, we're still having access issues now because a hurricane's taken down a road.
But you're past that. Here we are now, just after the rainy season, October. What's next steps for commercial production?
October, the rains stop. As you said before, I'm a conservative guy. I don't want to misrepresent or mislead anyone, so we have to run at a profitable level for 30 days, which is effectively running at 200 tons per day for 30 days. We have to pour the doré, and we have to be paid for it. And then we look at what we got from the doré to make sure that it outstrips what our costs were. And then we go, okay, now we're commercial. Now we're actually making money. And I believe, that we can maintain it on a consistent basis. That's the key to commercial production.
Do you feel you're close? You feel you're almost there?
We're close. We're close.
Tell us really quickly about your milling manager and what he's meant to UC in terms of what he's been able to accomplish with efficiencies and really get you to that next step.
He's communicating with his staff. His staff love him. He's working well with them. He's working well with us. It's a breath of fresh air, finally.
And his timing is perfect because it's given you a bit of a break from being the main guy there all this time.
Right.
I want to thank you. I want to thank Gary for the appearances you've made on the show, and more importantly, for giving us and everyone at home unprecedented access. We've never ever done this before. It's the first time we've done it, and I think it's wonderful what you guys have been able to accomplish, and looking forward to having you back in the near future when you actually get to that commercial production.
Absolutely. Gary and I have been to hell and back, and I think that we're finally starting to turn the corner. We had a lot of fun with your crew on site. It was a great visit, and we'll do it again when we're blasting some hard rock.
Looking forward to it. We'll send them down again. Well, the show is over, but your work is just beginning. If you think UC Resources is your next biggest winner, then make sure you start your homework. Visit the company's website, take a look at the press releases, take a look at their filings, and most importantly, make sure you speak to your financial advisor. Join us next week, where we're going to have 3 great companies for you. And until then, thanks from everybody at the next biggest winner.
Thanks, Rich.
Good stuff. Good to see you.